Hey, read through the word. Today is February 14th. So, I'm all Valentined out. So, today's lesson is called Finish the Work. We are at the final chapter in the book of Exodus, and so Exodus chapter 40, and we are looking at verse 33, and it says this. Then he hung the curtains, forming the courtyard around the tabernacle and the altar, and he set up the curtain at the entrance of the courtyard. So at last, Moses finished the work. Today's lesson, finish the work. So he finished the work. Now, I, for years, tried to think as you read this chapter, how in the world Moses would climb up and do all this stuff all by himself. Don't think it's telling us he's done all this by himself. But it's always interested me to think how in the world he climbed up over all these poles and through everything. Him being, 80 years old at this point, 81. So, yeah, it's very interesting. But Moses has done, so now we're going to flip back a little bit. Moses has done, now if you notice in the book of Exodus, as God is outlining everything with Moses, so we're in Exodus chapter 25, verse 8. He said, and let them make me a sanctuary that I might dwell in their midst, exactly as I show you concerning the pattern of the tabernacle and all its furniture, so you shall make it. So Exodus 25 verses 8 and 9 is exactly what God told Moses to do. And now we find in Exodus chapter 40, Moses has done it all. He's accomplished completely what God had told him to build. Now, for you word nerd peoples, which was what we call ourselves around here, we're word nerds. Either word, really dig word, or we're word nerds, the word. Here's a word nerd thing right here. Now this word right here is kalah, which is seen, it says Moses completed the work. It's the same word that you see in Genesis chapter 2, verse 2, which I wrote in your notes. And on the seventh day, God finished his work that he had done. And he rested on the seventh day of all this work that he had done. So this same finished the work, completed the work is the same Hebrew word that is used there. So if you want to go chase that in the Vines or Strong's and look at all of that. But in your notes, I put the complete definition. But it's completed, everything absolutely done. And I'm just telling you, it is rare in the Bible to see it commented where an actual human does everything God commands them to do. And we see it here with Moses. He did everything. Everything God told him to do, he did it, and he finished the work. He had been assigned to work. He completely did it. So it begs the question, what work has God assigned us to do? And are we finishing it? Or do we even care that we're finishing it? So we're going to look at Ephesians chapter 2. I have to think sometimes. Ephesians 2, of where books are. And it is verses 8 through 10. For by grace you've been saved, and I'm reading from ESV, through faith. And this is not your own doing. It is a gift of God, not as a result of work, so that no man may boast. For we are his workmanship. We are his completion. We are his Genesis 2:2. We're completed, his workmanship. Created in Christ Jesus for what? For a good work that we have to complete. He's completed this work in us through Christ, which God has prepared beforehand that we should walk in them. I tell my students in my classroom the other day, I was looking at them, I said, we can see, especially in, this idea in middle school and high school. They think when they're an adult, they're going to have it all together and they're going to know everything. And every adult watching right now laughs. No. And so I said, you can't wait until you're an adult to decide what has God called you to do. I said, now he'll reveal more of his plan throughout time. I said, but we can, so right now I am talking with them in a unit on how to share the gospel and the power of the gospel to save, to keep, to transform, and what that looks like in life. And I said, there's nowhere in the Bible that has an age restriction on that. It doesn't say, no, when you turn 18 or when you turn 21, you can start this. I'm like, no, you're in Christ, you start now. He has saved you for a work that he's prepared beforehand for us to walk in them, to do, to complete. I don't want it to be said that Lisa did not complete the work that God had told her to do. I mean, it says in the Bible that Moses completed everything God told him to do. I want that said of myself. And Lisa completed everything that God told her to do. I don't want to be the one that says, but God. I mean, Moses tried that earlier. I think that's why he learns it now. He did the 5, but God, but God, but God, but God, but God. I think that was 5 at the burning bush. But here, it's, he gets it. He completes what God had told him to do. And I'm saying, New Testament tells us the same is required of us, that he has prepared works before us. And, he even tells us of what that's supposed to look like in the life of a Christian. Because what he tells us is basically, are we walking in fruitfulness? Or are we walking in worthless works? John 15. So John 15, which is, I love, abide in me. John 15:16 says this. Here we go. Whew. It says, you did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed that you should go and bear fruit, and their fruit should abide. We're supposed to be walking in fruitfulness. So are we doing that? See, and here's the thing. We can, I think sometimes we can romanticize these Old Testament people and think, well, I mean, here's what they have. They have a tabernacle that was placed in their midst as a visible and concrete picture of the presence of God. It actually is supposed to, with the whole cloud and fire and all of that, God had started that as a picture of, so think of tabernacle as a mini Mount Sinai. The presence of God was on the mountain and all of that. So now the presence of God will go to the tabernacle and it's in their midst. Is a visible presence. God chose, get that, God chose a visible presence as a symbol of an invisible God. Everything about this tabernacle points to Jesus, and everything is about him and what he will come to do. But what we see here is that God desires to be with his people. He desires to be with them because he has prepared a work for them that they will walk in, and they're supposed to be fruitful in. Now, we see that Moses did his part that he was told earlier. So in Exodus 25, he's told what to do. In Exodus 40, we see he's done it. And we're going to continue to watch these people as are they going to be what they're supposed to be? Are they going to walk in fruitfulness or walk in worthless works? It's the same for us. Do we walk in fruitfulness? That we were saved because he loved us. For God so loved the world. He loved us. And that he's prepared a work for us. Will he find us faithful until it's done? Oh, please, Lord, make it so. We'll see you next time on Read Through the Word.